Welcome to Tai Cheng. These are the Tai Chi Breakdowns, and we're going to start with the stances. And this is Liz. She's going to be helping me during this section. And join along. Make sure you're doing this along with. This is the level stance. We're going to have Liz's feet shoulder width and parallel. Excellent. And then from here, she's going to pry the balls of the feet down into the ground. So pushing down with the balls of the feet. Excellent. Toes just lace gently on the ground. The knees pry outward. Excellent. And then from here, she's going to tilt her hips upward so that her lumbar spine from here goes from totally relaxed. Relax back for a second. This is her natural lumbar curve. And now push back into my arm. Perfect. So now her hips, her shoulder, and her head are all in vertical alignment. Excellent. And that's the level stance. And now for the front stance. Let's go back to the level stance, please. Great. Now, taking your right foot, pivot that out 45 degrees for me. Perfect. A little bit less. Excellent. Shift your weight onto that foot and slide your other foot forward one pace, still on that grid. Excellent. Shifting the weight onto the front. Now rotate the hips in all the way so you make sure both right and left hips are still aiming straight forward. Good job. The front knees pried out perfectly. Back knee straight. And still try and get that tuck as much as you can. Your hip flexor is going to want to try and rotate you back this way, but try and get that stretch all the way in through the front. Perfect. Great job. And again, you'll notice from profile view, her hip, her shoulder, and her head are still in perfect vertical alignment. Great job. All right, let's have a look at the back stance. Let's start from the front stance. There's your perfect front stance. Again, hips and shoulders are flush to the front. Pelvis is tucked a little bit. Excellent, even better. Now from here, to get the back stance, shift all of your weight to the back leg. So 100% weight, there you go. Turn the hips a little bit more towards me and pry that back knee out. Good job. Staying nice and tall and tucked. You should be able to ideally lift that foot. Aha. Good. So that's the acid test. And that's the basic back stance. Now to do the full back stance, bring that front foot please on the same line as the back foot. Great. Still 100% weights on the back leg. And again, the way you test 100% weight is to acid test it. And so from here to this back stance has both hips and shoulders flush to the front and the back knee is still pried outward a little bit. Excellent. And if you can, from there, tuck a little bit more. Bang. Excellent. So that brings us to the first move of the Tai Chi sequence and the Tai Chi statics, lift and lower. All right, this is going to start from a level stance. Again, use your calibration grid. If possible, place your heels in the back where those two lines intersect. Great. Knees are pried out, hips are tucked. And again, notice, once she tucked, she's got the hip, shoulder, and head all in alignment, but also, instead of a curve at the lower back, that curve dropped into a straighter line once she started tucking. That's a very important detail. And then from here, as if she's in a body cast from her head all the way to her feet, but it's a sleeveless body cast so she can move her arms. She's going to reach forward from her wrists, and as you do the same, make sure that you're not leaning back. Good job. And then once your wrists reach shoulder height, stop for a second and check. If you can, right, exactly what Liz is doing, rolling the shoulders back, and now one last detail. Make sure too that you're not leaning back, and now tilt a little bit more. Tilt a little bit more. There you go, a little bit more. Wham. It's a lot of strength in there.
Yes.
Now from here, roll your elbows in towards your ribs and down. Beautiful. And again, letting the breath be between your hips. Wrists fall. And then your fingers glide open and down. Let your fingers be relaxed open, not electrocuted open, just easy. Be just extended without rigidity. Perfect. You want to finish with the arms at your sides, palms still facing the floor. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go into the second move, Phoenix's tail. From here, find your front stance. Excellent. Back foot's at a 45, front foot's straight ahead. Excellent. Good. From here, front hand's gonna be out in front, so whatever side leg is in front, that same side hand is in front. The elbow of the bottom hand is gonna be one rib, or one fist distance in front of the ribs, rather. There we go. So if you look at it from the side, these hands are pretty much equidistant from the body. Great job. Now from there, shift back into holding a ball. Good. Whatever side you're shifting towards, that's the same side hand that's on top when you're holding the ball. And again, maximize that tuck. Very good. And once you shift in, then let the hands, the hips, and the stance all express together. Perfect. Great job. Thank you. Now, there are 3 techniques that look very similar to Phoenix's tail, the second of which is ward off. All right, so we're going to start off in the same stance, that front stance, and join along. Make sure you're doing this along with. Again, raise your toast. There we go. So that elbow, again, from here is going to be a fist distance in front of the ribs, and the hands are in line. So you've got one hand, 2 hands, and then the sternum right in front. Great, so there's your ending position. From here, shift back again to holding a ball. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Top hand, shoulder height, bottom hand, hip height. And as you shift into ward off, lead arm rounded, back hand falling behind at the wrist, but not touching. Excellent. And again, make sure the shoulders are down, neck is long, and try and create the tuck. Well done. All right, from the ward off, what goes forward will eventually go backwards. So now we've got a backward or receiving move called pull back. Let's start again from that front stance at ward off. Now from here, roll your arms out. Good job, freeze. At this moment, your lead hand should be palmed down and out, rear palm should be up. So the way you had it was just right. Notice how too that the rear hand is right by the elbow. Great positioning. From here, shift back, tucking the hip as you shift back, and then the hands drop. Good. Make sure you rotate the hips completely to 45 in keeping with that weighted foot rule. Great. That's a great end position right there. And let's come back to ward off, please. Good. Turning the hips in all the way. There you go. Great. Tuck the hip again a little bit more. Well done. Now from here, roll out along with Liz. There you go. And pull back and down, rotating the hip as you shift. So you've got the hands dropping, the hips rotating to 45, and the shift taking you all the way back to the back foot. Notice again, hip, shoulder, head, perfect vertical alignment, and she's got a great tuck in the hip, not hanging backwards like this. Thank you. All right, this is the third and final technique in our pung or rounded lead arm series. So we're gonna start again from that pull back position. Excellent. Notice how she's setting her stance. Front foot's pointing straight, back foot's at a 45. Hips and shoulders are in the same direction, aligned with the weighted foot, in this case the back foot. Spine's tall, and hands are back hand palm up, front hand palm down. From here, her back hand is going to come up to her front wrist as she's shifting, and then press. So that blade edge is going to press in the wrist and drive forward. So as you're doing this, you should be trying to push your wrist straight towards us. That idea, not off to the side, but straight towards us. Excellent. And again, notice rolling the shoulders, spine's tall, and a little bit more tuck. Bang. Perfect. All right, that brings us to the separate and pull technique. Separate and pull is just like pull back in the sense that once a move goes forward in Tai Chi, usually the next or following move pulls back or is a receiving move. So let's start from the press. Great. And notice how carefully she's using that grid. Use the grid for your benefit. It helps give you accuracy and precision in foot placement. And from here, that back knife hand edge is right on the wrist. Good. Shoulders are down and tuck. Good job. Solid tuck. Follow along, and again, try and magnify your movement just like that. Now from here, your hands are gonna separate about shoulder width, and then as you shift back, you're gonna pull in towards your shoulders, and then down as if you're closing a roll top desk. Excellent. Notice that her hands, both hands are equidistant from the front. It's not like One hand's forward and one hand's way back, but both are equidistant from the front. Check yours to make sure yours are also. Back to the press, please. Great, and again, notice that tuck. Hands separate and float back towards your shoulders, and then bring the hands down to the hips. They should end up on either side of your front hip. Beautiful, and again, great spinal line. Hip, shoulder, head in line, and a good tuck. Great job. Okay, now that brings us to push. Again, remember, whenever a move goes back, the next move is generally forward, and vice versa. So back to that same foot positioning, and imagine you just pulled that rolled top drawer shut. And again, hands are on either side of that front hip, equidistant from the front. From here, the next move is pretty simple, but there's a lot of coordination involved with it. It's just a push. So shift into the front, rotating the hips as you shift. Good job. And you are going to push forward until your fingertips are the same height as your shoulders. Elbows are 1 fist distance in front of the ribs. She has her elbows perfectly placed, fingertips just right. And let's just turn the hip a touch more and tuck. And again, notice that tuck is hard to do. Even as controlled as she is and as great posture she has, you really want to exaggerate that tuck as much as possible. Well done, Liz. Thank you. There are 3 moves here. Let's break these down for you in detail. Starting from the push, heading that away. Great. And again, notice the shoulder calibration and the hip tuck. Well done. Fingers are shoulder height. Elbows are a little bit far in front. Let's bring that just right back to here. Excellent. Now from here, the hand that's on the same side as the back leg is going to hook in at the fingers. The other hand's going to drop down. And as she shifts back all the way, then she drags her foot in. So she's got a hook, drag, and a drop. Do that along with. And again, back out one more time from the beginning, from the push. Great. So now follow along. Hook, drop, and drag the foot in all together. Notice her shoulders are down, neckline is long. The next step from here is she's going to step back out roughly to the same position she was before while she's extending her hands. And as you're doing that, make sure that you're not leaning. She's got a very straight spine. Try and emulate that as best you can. Shoulders are down. The last step is to cut up, over, and down with that lead arm. And that arm is going to go right on top of your front leg. So that arm and that leg on that same side are in the same vertical plane. Good. Notice how the hips are 45-ish, not straight to 45, but a little bit more open. Great. Let's do that again from the top, please, from the push. So 3 distinct sections in here. We'll break them down one by one. And from here, hook, drag, and drop, which is the first section. Remember, as you're doing this, keep your shoulder down away from your ear. Long neck, tucked hip. And again, exaggerate that tuck a little bit more. There you go, perfect. Hand and foot out together, so your hands come out at an angle. Notice how she's bringing her hands out more towards me than way behind her over here. Good. From there, cut up, over, and down. Arm cuts over directly over the leg. Excellent. And let's make sure that the hips, in this case, are a little bit more open. Great job. Thank you. All right, and now for raise hands. All right, so let's start off with single whip, the same place we just finished off at. Good. Backhand hook, front hand open palm. Again, sitting palm, standing fingers. The wrist, the tip of the nose, and the middle finger are all the same horizontal plane off the ground. Elbows are in front of the plane of the body, and hips are open to 45-ish. And now from here, as if I'm holding this hook here, she's going to use this to pull her body back, and the front toes come up. Now the hands open up, and the back foot turns in 45 degrees. Excellent. From there, shifting back onto that back foot that you just turned, hands and heel in front. As you're doing this, notice that this whole arm, the foot, all in the same vertical plane. Body is 45 degrees in keeping with a weighted foot. Great, let's do that again. From single whip. And from here, use the hook to pull back, toes come up. Blossom the hand and turn the foot at the same time. And now from here, shift back, hand and heel in front, and the hips are turned a little bit more to 45 with a little bit more of a tuck. Perfect. Notice again how straight that lower back is. Perfect. Got that? Okay. Good job. The next one, for now, is called pulling knee. It's very simple, but it's going to be a little bit more strenuous in terms of balance. So starting from raised hands posture, heels are in a line, hips are in the 45, same direction as your weighted foot. Line of sight straight ahead. And notice again, from here, at this raised hands position, her backhand is right at her elbow. Her lead hand is about eye line. From here, keeping that same perfect vertical alignment, she's going to pull down with both hands and lift up the knee. Do the same back at home. Make sure your toes are pointed down just like Liz's are. From here, that backhand continues to circle around as the front foot comes down to touch heel first, back where you took it from, and that thumb ends up right on the shoulder. Great job. Let's do that again. Reset yourself right from raised hands position. Great. Now from here, with that good tuck, pull with both hands, lift your knee up. Again, don't lean back. Just like Liz is doing, stay perfectly straight. And now bring your backhand around to touch your front shoulder right as your heel hits the ground. Beautiful. A relatively simple move, but a lot of detail in there. Great job. Thank you. Okay, now for bear comes out of cave, the next movement in the series. From here, we're going to start at that same ending position that we just did at pulling knee. Heels are still in the line, one line of your calibration grid. All of your weight should be on your back leg. And again, posture up, heel to hip to shoulder to head, all one vertical line. Try and create that tuck. You want that lumbar curve to turn into a straight line just for training purposes. Now from here, turn that front foot in 45 degrees. Perfect. So both feet are now parallel, and you're going to drive 100% of your weight onto that front foot. Keeping your line of sight straight forward and tuck. Now make sure too as you do this that the hip turns completely to the side. This is a clear-cut break in the weighted foot rule. The weighted foot is going to be on 45, but the hips and shoulders are flush to the side. And ideally, at that end point, 100% of your weight's on that front leg. Well done. And now for white crane spreads wings. This is one of Tai Chi's trademark moves. So from here, from our last ending position, both feet 45, hands in position. And again, remember for this one, at the completion of bear comes out of cave, your line of sight's actually going to be forward. So instead of looking towards the side, for this one, you're actually going to be looking directly towards us. Great. 100% of the weight's on that front foot, the leg that's closest to the camera. And from here, hands open up, and that back toe creeps forward. The difficult part here is to make sure that as you're doing this, the hip and the shoulder stay perfectly aligned vertically. The front toe is in the same exact line as the back heel. And notice both elbows are still in front of the plane of the body. Well done. All right, and now to break down double dutch and brush knee. So from here, let's start from the end position of white crane. Front toe and back heel are again still on that same line. Whatever leg is forward, that's the same side hand that's down. Exactly like Liz has got it. Both elbows are still in front of the plane of the body. And let's make sure that this is shoulder right atop hip joint, and now tuck for me a little bit. A little bit more. Perfect. Excellent. Now from here, the top hand's going to come down as the bottom hand comes up and around, just like you've got two ropes and you're playing double dutch. As the body turns to 45 and the hips turn to 45, she's going to switch hands and step out wide, back on that calibration grid, and shift into the front. Both elbows stay in front of the body. There we go. And palm flat. The idea here is there's a gentle curve from the tip of the shoulder to the tip of the finger all the way through. So instead of a curve upward from the wrist, it's flat. The bottom hand should be roughly at hip height. Top hand's going to be just a little bit lower so that the fingers end up at collarbone height. And again, that elbow is fist distance in front of the ribs. Great. Let's do another rep. Great. Top hand comes down. Bottom hand is going to come up and around. Beautiful. Switch hands, step wide, and brush knee straight into the front. Great. Notice how Liz adjusted both of her elbows in front of the plane of her body. And let's make sure, too, that the shoulders are level so that the shoulders and the hips are one right atop the other. Great job. Again, make sure that you're practicing both sides and follow along. Great job. Okay, let's break down play the peepaw. Peepaw is like a Chinese guitar, so think about it as you're going to be playing a guitar. Starting from brush knee, the completion of the stance. Now from here, as she's going to reach forward with the top hand, her back foot's going to slide up and in, grab, twisting and pulling, and then as she shifts back, that lead hand comes up. The lead toe should also pop up all the way, so it's just barely touching on the heel. Good. The backhand, as you can tell, is right even with the elbow, and her body is flush 45. Notice how all the weight's on the back leg. Now from here, there's going to be a very gentle turn, and then back to the front. Notice that during that turn, she didn't hinge at the hips, but it rather is just a rotation. So as you're doing this, imagine that you've got a plumb line from the top of your head down through your body, all the way down to the floor. And you can't bend that line, you just have to rotate around it. That's the idea. Great, one more rep, please, from brush knee.
Okay.
Excellent, and again, elbow stays nice in front of the body. Reach forward and slide up. There's the grab and twist with the slide in, lift up, turn a little bit, and back to front. Excellent job. All right, and now for sheathing sword. From here, let's brush knee to the side. And again, make sure you're using the calibration grid just like Liz is. Back foot's at 45, front foot straight ahead. Elbows are still in front of the plane of the body. Top hand fingertips, even with the collarbone, so just a touch lower. Excellent. Now, notice too that Liz is doing this really well, tucking. Now, untuck for a second. Notice the difference from here, how much space there is between my forearm and her back. Now, tuck again. Notice how flat that becomes? This is a serious tuck. That's a stretch on the hip flexor as well as serious activation for the lower abs. Great job. From here, take your back foot and windshield wiper it open to the opposite 45. From there, that top hand opens up like a backhand slap. The other hand comes up and turn the back foot in, pushing off the back toes and bring the feet together. This is sheathing a sword. So just imagine you're sheathing a sword on this hip. Great, let's do that again. Well done. Now from here, the back foot opens up as the hand comes across from the high to low. Back foot turns in and sheathing a sword, bringing the feet together. At this moment in time, you'll notice too that she came back and relaxed the shoulders down, made sure that the hips and shoulders are facing same direction as the weighted foot, and the line of sight's straight ahead. So as you're doing this in home, make sure you're wiggling around as well. Try to find those perfect postures. Really refine that kind of calibration in your joints. Great job, Liz.
Thanks.
All right, and now for the diagonal punch, kick, and check. This is, again, going to be a little bit of a complicated one. Lots going on here. Stick with us, you'll be fine. To break this down, we're going to start from the sheathing sword position. Great. Bringing everything up on the side. Shoulders are down, nice posture. And diagonal back fist with the rolling kick. That rolling kick pushes out with the ball of the foot right as that diagonal fist comes out. The heel lands comfortably. You shift forward. Foot is now on a 45. Notice it's not pointing straight. And that allows the hips and shoulders to also be on a 45. From here, the hand and foot are going to come out forward together, reaching out as you step out. And she's reestablishing width in the stance. You shift in now and punch. Good. The punch is only going to be such that the elbow is 1 fist distance in front of the ribs. So it's not going to be a reach out and nail someone. It's going to be a very short range position. The backhand is going to be palms seated again, fingers straight up. And again, they talk about this like fingers aimed towards heaven like incense sticks. So let's do that again. Sheathing a sword. Great. Tall spine, shoulders down. Well done. And batter up. Good. Reach out with the diagonal back fist and the rolling kick. Heel touches. Good. Shift forward, turning the body to 45 as you shift forward, chambering that fist on your back hip. Good. Hand and heel come out together. Good job. And again, shift into the front, driving the hip as you shift. Perfect. And notice, again, now This time, that punch isn't so far in front, the elbow is just one fist distance in front of the body, and the backhand is straight up towards the heavens. Great job.
Thanks.
All right, and now for your penultimate breakdown, withdraw and seal. From here, back foot's on a 45, front foot's pointing straight ahead, and you're in that punch position. Now from here, that backhand is going to go underneath your other hand at the elbow. The fist is going to blossom open, and now the hands are going to shift back and separate until the forearms are parallel. From here, the hands come down to the hips, and you drive forward in a push. Good. Now, if you notice, once again, we want to make sure that the shoulders are right over the hip, and from here, try and minimize the space with a tuck. Yeah, that's it. Let's do that again. And again from the punch, great attention to detail. Hips are flush into the front, and give me a little bit more tuck. Perfect. And both hand and blossom at the same time, shifting back, trying to stay low. Hands come down to the hips right now, and pushing in as you shift and rotate the hip. Excellent. Elbows are fist distance right in front of the ribs. Perfect. Fingertips are same height as the shoulders, and we've got tuck. Touchdown. Great job. All right, and here's the last of your breakdowns, cross hands and close. From here, we're going to start with the push position that we just ended up in. And now from here, shift back, lifting your elbows up. The front foot, however, still stays flat. Now from here, shift forward, looping the arms down. Whatever hand is on the bottom is the same as the back leg. From here, wrists up and knee up, so you're lifting the wrists and the knee as if they're connected by a string. From here, now the heel goes down. Perfect. Shoulder width, feet are parallel. The arms are going to be rounded in front of the body. So notice again that gentle curve from shoulder tip to fingertip. Great. From there, roll the palms out. Good. And wipe across. Good job. And as the hands glide down, slowly straighten the legs. Great. Let's do that one more time. Starting again from the push, from our seal move. Again, sealing the center line. Good. And again, notice that careful calibration of the hip. That's so underrated. Good job. Shift back, elbows up, feet stay flat. Shift forward, loop with the arms, wrists up, knee up together. Beautiful. Heel down. Very precise. Good job. Weights 50-50. Retuck into that level stance, that perfect level stance. Excellent attention to detail. And then from here, roll the palms out, slide them across, drop the shoulders down, and the elbows, wrists are down. And again, as the hands glide down towards the sides, spine gets tall, and the legs gently straighten. Hips pronounce themselves forward. Beautiful job.
Thank you.